my wife, 2 people with her, plaster full leg into a vehicle and took out their personal belongings, wearing apparels. And every other thing remained there, including 6 air conditioners. I bought them new. The top 4, the sitting room down, 2. And Salma, one of the Jai brothers, Salma, was kind enough to put her in his residence here near Q Cell. She was there, and a month or 2 later, I was released. They got the police out, and when they went out, you can see it now. You can carry out a physical verification anytime. Here, they remove all the corrugated iron sheets and the ceiling of the building. They removed every window and door, including fixtures and furnitures. They also, through their neglect and collision, got away with 70% or 80% of my block factory. I had 60,000 blocks there. I caught, one of my drivers caught a lorry, loading it and taking it to somewhere in Jimpex. I don't want to call names, I will not. That was the time I told my lawyer, and he wrote to them. They never replied. They said, we will look into it. The letter is here. I will be submitting later 3 violations of my right and downright seizure of my property without any form of legal backing whatsoever. I will submit that to you later for consideration, because that is a violation of my right in taking my property, seizing it without any authority, and up to now, refusing to acknowledge that, let alone to refund or to return. So I consider that as a very serious, gross violation. Since you are dealing with the type of human right, physical abuse, I have decided that I will make a submission, short submissions of each of them. I will be advised by my lawyer for that effect.
Thank you very much. We'd be happy to receive those submissions, and be rest assured that the Commission would take them into consideration. So in 1995, you told us earlier that when your homes were being confiscated and your family removed from those houses, you were in detention. Can you tell us what happened? How did you come to be arrested, and what happened subsequently?
Well, prior to removing my family, the arrest came first. I was in the property, 79 Kairoba, with I was waiting for lunch, because I had come from Carnifing computer lessons. This thing had just started, and I paid. I think that was my 2nd or 3rd visit to lessons.
Where in Carnifing was that?
GTTI. It was being conducted there. Now, I went to this house here, waiting for lunch. While I was waiting, 4-wheel drive, the gate was open. A 4-wheel drive, I was sitting, there's a hut I built where I sit. It's about 10 meters from the main house. I was sitting there and I saw a 4-wheel drive come into, the gate was open, come in, stopped, another pickup stopped outside, and I think there were a total of about 10 soldiers. And the ones in the 4-wheel drive came out, 3, with their guns pointing. They saw one of my daughters, Soma, She is back. She's in the Gambia now. In fact, she is in court. They pointed the guns at her and said, "Where's MC Shah? Where's MC Shah?" Terrified her, terrorized her. Then I shouted, I said, "Here am I." I went around and met with them. Gunpoint. "Let's go."
Do you know who was in charge? Which officers they were?
No, but because I don't know them. Most of the names, if I ever attempt to give, must have been told me by people who live here. Somebody like OJ knew quite a lot of them, Almamo and Sow and Sane. And
let's take them one by one. Almamo, you mentioned.
Yes,
you know
Almamo visited us a number of times. Terrible man.
Do you know what was his last name?
I think it's Money. He comes, I understand he comes from the other side of the river. Nyomi or Joka, thereabout. Because he was among the worst. So I don't think any detainee at that time will fail to know his name.
Do you know what rank he was, Almamo Mane? What rank he was?
No. The only one I knew whose rank I knew was one Mendy. Because when we came there, just before they start torturing us, when we came down from the vehicle, he said, "Hi, Hitler." I looked around and I said, "Well, you're the Hamgamada, you know me." He said, "We were your boys during football association days in the 60s. I said, "I see." So these four, I know their names. Okay. Mendy was a sergeant, but the ranks of the other three, I don't know.
So when they arrived at your house, you said they terrorized Soma. How old was Soma at the time? Do you recall?
Soma must be maybe 15, 16, or 13, 14, thereabout, I think. He was a minor.
At the time, she was still a child. Okay.
It was well before she traveled abroad.
So when you came out and say to them, "Here am I, MC Cham," what happened next?
Oh, they rushed me into the vehicle and gunpoint. And I found late Usainu Njai, OJ, Mustafa and Babukar Sise. These are children of late Matar Sise, chief of Njau. Mustafa had some marriage relations with my family. Babukar was working at the statistics office. I had an earlier encounter with him, so I know all of them who were in the vehicle, and they drove us to depot, Bakau.
In the same vehicle or in different vehicles?
Same four-wheel, then the pickup with the rest of the soldiers followed us.
Do you recall the date or which month and year this thing occurred?
I don't know. I think it's 95. I don't know whether I have it in my... If you allow me a minute...
Let's take a look at your statement. I'm specifically referring to page 7, paragraph 11. Mr. Cham, to save time, perhaps you looking for your glasses? Okay, good. Thank you. Page 7, paragraph 11.
October 95.
Do you now recall whether that's the correct date?
Yes.
That, okay. Thank you, Mr. Cham. You can put that away for the time being. So you are taken to depot, you said. Depot, would that be Fajara Barracks?
Correct.
And tell us what happened when you arrived there, and give us all the details. Thank you.
Well, when we arrived there, you pass the guard room and turn left. There was a garage there and a hangar and some mango trees. We were put down just before the mango tree, one mango tree, and there was a bench or two, and military officers were sitting them, facing the hangar. We were brought down, and we were seated. We found some other people, whom later I knew were detainees, sitting on the ground. And we were brought in front of the military people sitting on the benches, and we were sat on the floor. There was a rain, heavy rain, just before, I think, one of the last rains. The ground was wet. We were seated on the ground.
Do you recall who were these military officers who were seated on the bench?
Well, as I say, for certain, Gomez was there, sergeant. He was a sergeant because I saw his rank. And he was the one who called me Hitler, a name they used to call me earlier.
Was it Gomez or was it Mendy? Because
Mendy, sorry. Mendy. It was Mendy. Mendy. I think I have Mendy. It's Mendy. I'm not sure he's alive. Almamo, obviously, because of his terrible behavior towards us. It's easy. And as I said, there was a Bojang and a Sani. I think OJ is the one who knows them, knows many of them. So he was the one telling us, this is this, this is that. So they were among the lot sitting down. And while we were seated on the floor, just a matter of minutes, Almamo came and removed the bayonet from his gun, stamped it in front of me, just 2 feet maybe away from. We were asked to squat on the floor, wet floor, just maybe 2 feet from me, 1.5 or 2 feet. You know, he had a green thing tied around his cap, a military thing, and I'm going to kill you. I remained calm and looked at him. They said, get up. I got up. He said I should move towards the armory. Double up. Just few spaces. I felt a terrible hit on my back. I looked back and saw him holding a tree branch. Apparently, they must have cut a branch, removed the leaves, and he inflicted wounds on my back. I was bleeding. My shirt was all blood, and then a shout from the sitting soldiers under the tree, stop, stop that. He stopped. Asked me to come back. I came. I sat with OJ, Uzeno, and the CCs. My back was aching and bleeding. It went from there, bad to worse.
I am sorry, sir, we have to ask you these detailed questions.
Well,
you were made to sit on the ground, correct?
Yes, yes.
How was the ground at this stage?
It was very wet. And after I came back and sat down, the torture started. They asked us all to remove our clothes and sit on the wet ground, naked.
Mr. Chairman, we take a few minutes break to allow the witness to recuperate.
Thank you. We suspend the meeting for about 5 minutes. The meeting is suspended.
57 vehicles, you are giving it to parliamentarians. Where is the source? The parliamentarians themselves should challenge that.
Next, APRC and GBC, no opposition. All other parties, that doesn't concern you people, either UDP or NRP or PPP, they are all in the government. Man, dama against ID card mu nekk $450. Man mosuma si ànd te du mosuma sa ànd.
yow xaalis boobu nu mu fa ñëwee loolu nga war a njëkk a laajte because social security institution doo xam ne social security warut a ñàkk a xaalis yëfi profit social security loolu waxtaani banda la loolu dafa war a automatique.
Barrow lu ma ko ñaan mooy na wàcce 3 years am su demee 5 years dafa am problème leadership bu mu fi bàyyi dafa bon right now amul direction bu correct réew mi ñëpp seen am na disappointment si nguuri Barrow.
benn nit munta jagal réew da ngaa def li nga war a def bàyyi keneen ñu continuer
It's revolution time. Even if you're blind, you can see the signs. Don't be left behind. This one dedicated to all the Gambians people, victims of Yaya Jammeh. You can fool some people sometimes, but not everybody all the time. Hey! Nothing new under Gambia sky. Nothing new under Gambia sky. Yaya Robin still and tell a liar. Nothing new under Gambia sky. Because of his politics, now people die. Nothing new under Gambia sky. Nothing new, nothing new, nothing new under Gambia sky. What's the purpose of your life if you don't have no right? You can't win the battle if you're not ready to fight. Tell me the meaning of your life if you don't know your right. It's like living in the darkness and don't expect light. Give me the power of the warrior. We have to live it up. It's like the beginning